Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
My name's Adele Onyango, and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to this episode of Legally Clueless podcast. Thank you so much for rocking with the pod, and this is what's coming up.
The journey during the pregnancy was smooth until 7 months. I got sick a lot. So it was on a Sunday when I think I took a lot of soda, and now I started getting contractions and vomiting uncontrollably. But the more I vomit, the more the contractions. Now even my husband, he doesn't understand. He knew, we are going to get the child in July. Why is this happening in June? Yeah, so by the time we went to hospital, it was active labor. We didn't know the hospital had no good facilities. So the lights we were mostly in the dark in the recovery room, and the nurses were rude. The painkillers were not working on me. So I felt the pain all through. My son started to convulse and becoming stiff. I felt like this baby was tormenting me, because when the nurses come and to examine this child, it was not happening. I started feeling like I'm craving for this child to get sick to prove my point. It was a tough journey, because if we deal with this problem, another one comes up. It was jaundice, and there were so many things. The lungs were not working, the bladder was not working. Now that strained even our relationship, because now, we don't know. We're just focusing on this child. We want this child to survive.
That is from part 1 of Petronilla's story. It's coming up a little later in this episode. However, OG members, welcome again. Thank you so much for being part of the family. If you're new here, audio episodes of this show go out every single Monday. And on Wednesdays, we have the midweek teas. On Thursdays, we have 2 episodes of For Mannerless Women, one right here on our podcast channel and one on our YouTube channel, like a completely different one. So make sure you check out both. And on Fridays, we have a seasonal show that's going to be back soon called Ask a Therapist. Make sure that on whatever platform you're listening to this on, you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those shows. And if you want to receive weekly letters from me, sign up on our website. That's legallycluelessafrica.com. And I'm going to send you a letter every single Wednesday. I've been so good. I've not missed a Wednesday in months, I want to say. So yeah. It's been great connecting with you there. Just a bit of a heads up before we jump into 100 African stories. For those of you who've been keenly listening to all of our shows, you know that on the 30th of August, which is this Saturday, we have our wellness talk. And my personal therapist, who I lease out to you every so often, her name is Faith Guchu, is going to be walking us through reimagining family dynamics in adulthood. And so some of the things we're going to be looking at is, how can you build healthy boundaries with your family? What does healing look like from maybe something a family member said or did to you and has never acknowledged or apologized for? What does healing look like in that situation? We're also going to look at when you're an adult, you feel like you're 2 different people. There's the real you, and then there's the you that you morph into whenever you have to navigate family gatherings or interactions with family. So we need to clean up whatever is happening there, and so much more. Our ticket portal closes on Thursday, but we only have about 10 slots left. So if I were you, I'd grab my ticket right now. They're 1,000 bob. They are available on Hustle Sasa or our website, or link in the show notes. Grab your tickets, come through. To be honest, I feel like because I've done this particular work personally with Faith, who is the guest speaker, not only do you stop feeling exhausted and broken by a lot of experiences in regards to your family, but the family relationships that matter and that can respect the healing work that you do and the version of you that comes out of it, those relationships become so fruitful, so healthy, and so wonderful. So this actually will help you figure out your family dynamics. So I hope to see you there. 30th of August, it's at 10 a.m. It's virtual. So wherever you are in the world, you can join in. All right, let's jump into Petronilla's story. And she grew up in a single parent household. That's the beginning of her story. And then she eases us into becoming a mother. And she had no idea that that would test her in some unimaginable ways. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
My name is Petronilla Njoki. I come from Pangani. I am a mother of 3 kids. One boy and 2 girls. I was born in Pangani in Radiant Hospital. We went to live in Eastlands, Umoja. The childhood was crazy. We were very wild kids. We were always on the noisemakers list or always on punishment, like things like that. We were number one, because coming from a single parent family, my mother used to travel a lot for work, so we remained with the nanny at home. And now the nanny, since she wants to do her things, so we never used to play. So we were just staying at the house. Now, when the age came when we were supposed to start going to school, we couldn't adapt because now we were free. Because the nanny was abusive, she used to really beat us. Yeah. So now in school we were, can I say young and free? Yeah, so we got into trouble because now we were expressing ourselves and all, but it reached an age where everything settled. Now we started by grade 4. Now everything started to stabilize. Now we got the hang of it. Coming from a single parenthood family, the mother is good at becoming a provider because most of the time she was away. Like we could see her during the weekends, because during the weekdays she will go very early and come very late while we were asleep. So we didn't have that connection. Our connection is with the nannies that we had or the relatives we lived with. I guess I am thinking from her point of view, the relatives were supposed to be like, it's someone from our family, so they will protect us from the stranger. But you see, some of those relatives, they were really not, some of them were not good. Some of them had their own motives. I can't really blame them because most of them, they were young. So I can say basically we raised ourselves mostly. We made the rules. Being raised, it's called kulelewa na ulimwengu, being raised by the world. Yeah, so that is what we knew. In terms of discipline, it's the neighbors, the teachers, the strangers on the road, like anything, anywhere we could make mistakes, that is where we could get discipline. From our mom, I don't think she ever beat us because she was not there. She was busy making money to sustain us. In a nutshell, my journey from primary school to...
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
To high school, to college. For primary school, I think we made the rules in terms of grades. It came from us. It was intrinsically motivated because now you think I want to perform better so that I could go to a good school. While others, maybe their parents were telling them, you need to get these grades, you need to do this. For us, it was like, I need to, the next step is high school. What do? You inquire from your friends, Even when my menses started, it's friends who gave me. I didn't even tell my mom. It's friends. I told them, this is what is happening. So they are the ones who helped me. By the time my mother knows, it was like in grade 7, a year later. So, and she was shocked, like, my dad died a long time ago. I think when I was 6 years there, about 6 years there. She was the sole provider. So these things, they are also getting her by surprise. Now, after at least I was above average in primary, and it was fun for me. I can say it was fun because there was no pressure. I was just going with the wind, learning and having fun and all. And one thing I love about that is um being disciplined came from, we were not doing it for people, like my mother will beat me or things like that. We were being disciplined because of what we saw. Some of our friends got into very bad things. That school, it was crazy. So because you don't want to go to those extremes, you don't want to, like, for example, some of them engaged in drug abuse and all, and you see the dangers, they could get arrested at that young age because that school had very big, you could be in class 8 and be like 16 years or 18. During our time, it was the beginning of the Kibaki era. So with the free primary education, so many people came to school. It didn't matter the age. Yeah, that was it. And then we went to high school. Now things got serious because I'm like, I want to perform better to go to campus. I don't know. Something happened that I was not expecting because it was my first time being in boarding and all, and it's a new environment. It was just about reading and all. And I started to perform really well. Yeah, like being the top of the class and all. Yeah, so I never imagined I could be in that position. Yeah, so and then the first time you attain such a grade, the pressure is now how will I sustain it? And also now, after, it comes with a lot of challenges because now you will start being on the limelight. Students want to know who's this. They want to know your flaws, and then it's not like somewhere you can go home. They can go to your dorm and do things not serious about these things, bullying in school and all. Yeah, so it reached a point, it was too much. So I told my mom. The one thing about my mom, she listened. In that school, I told her, I may think I cannot be able to go on in this school. I think I'm being targeted. Yeah, so yeah, I went to another school. Yeah. And then something happened. She lost her job. Now it was so bad because now I had to, this new school, which was a very good school, I had to drop it. Yeah, because she couldn't be able, things went haywire. And so I stayed at home for the better part of that year. The following year, I went to, so my mom was like this ambitious woman. She really wanted the best for us. So this is when she was like, there was this peer pressure of parents whereby they say, hey, there's a school that is really performing, so everyone wants to take their children there. And so in that time, taking children to Uganda so that they could go to Makerere was the in thing. After she stabilized, she took me to Uganda. And then, I don't know, it didn't work out because the post-election violence. So things, her business now became even worse. So now I had to drop everything and come back home. I even left the box and all that. Now it was so bad. You see, I've been out of school, and then when I got a chance to be in school, then there were major challenges. And now it was a really tough time being a teenager, because now people are thinking, it's that age like you really mind what people are saying. So yeah, it was tough, and I I maneuvered, and I went to now day school. Now I had to work extra hard because it was like I had wasted 3 years. There are different systems. So now when I went back to Form 3 in a day school, now I had to study what they studied in Form 1, Form 2, and no, the Form 3. So from an A student, I went down to a D student. Yeah, it was really tough psychologically. It was so bad. But being a hard worker, I managed. At least I was above average. So after high school, after college, now we are working. We meet with the father of my kids. We get married. We go through the processes of paying dowry and all. Yeah, and it was a really beautiful time. And then now the expectation. I guess we started on a high because I was pregnant immediately. Yeah. So now the pregnancy, it was not, the journey during the pregnancy was smooth until 7 months. Yeah, 7 months there. 7, 8 months. I can say 36, 34 weeks, whereby I started having challenges. I got sick a lot. I used to go to the hospital, and you see, while you are pregnant, there are some medicines they can't give you, because I guess I had sciatica. The back pain, leg pain was intense. It was so bad. So there was this time, and then you don't know so many things, so you tend to make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, so you're not supposed to take things to induce the pregnancy, but you don't know. You drink soda, you take pineapple juice, you see, and those things might induce, not to all women, but to most women. So it was on a Sunday, and everything was working out nicely. I was feeling okay when I think I took a lot of soda, and now I started getting contractions and vomiting uncontrollably. And it was a really traumatizing moment because it was not yet time. So I wondered what is happening. But the more I vomit, the more the contractions. Now I had to be rushed to the hospital. Now even my husband didn't know. He doesn't understand. He knew, oh, we are going to get the child in July. Why is this happening in June? Yeah, so by the time we went to hospital, it was active labor. You are being told to stop vomiting, and it can't stop. It is projectile. But you are being told that, now I am being told that I will put my baby on distress. So I had to force myself. That I guess is one of the first things as a mother to learn, that sometimes you have to forget yourself for the sake of the survival of the child, because now it's not about you. You are the stronger one. Now there's this fragile baby. You really have to take care of them. So I stayed in the hospital for like almost, I was 5 days in active labor. So I was given pills to slow it down. Now when it was impossible to delay the process any further, now they scheduled me for an emergency C-section, and it was devastating because I hadn't imagined myself going in that direction. We went to theater. Anesthesiologist did his thing. Everything went on smoothly in the ward, and the baby was okay. Yeah, by the time they were removed, but I guess there was a process that it was not done well, because, and it was lucky. I don't know if I say I was lucky or it was God. It was God who made us to survive, because we didn't know the hospital had no good facilities. So the lights we were mostly in the dark in the recovery room, and the nurses were rude. The doctor, the one who was managing me, I guess she had never gone through that kind of maybe by now she remembers me. But then she
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home, and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
didn't understand the pain, because the painkillers were not working on me. So I felt the pain all through. Yeah, it was bad. And now my son started to convulse and becoming stiff during the night, and I thought now I was going to lose this child. And because of the challenges that I went through while planning for the wedding and all, there were so many things in the background bothering me then. And now I'm here with this child. So I'm wondering, is it coming from, we are Africans, is it coming from that, whatever our families, whatever the wrangles they had, or we didn't know. But now I'm in the hospital, the child is sick. Convulsions, they don't occur in mfululizo. So they happen, you cannot time them, they can happen anytime. Yeah, so it was scary because I hadn't seen something like that. And now they went and resuscitated this child and this baby, and it was scary. I was terrified. They were happy. I felt like this baby was tormenting me, because when the nurses come and to examine this child, it was not happening. I started like feeling like I'm craving for this child to get sick to prove my point, because it's happening while we are alone, And now it's a new marriage, and you're thinking, hey, this person is going to leave me. He'll think I'm going crazy. But you see, there's a lot going on during that time. Now the child was, we started going to different hospitals to check what is wrong with this child. Honestly, it was a tough journey, because if we deal with this problem, another one comes up. It was jaundice, and there was so many things. The lungs were not working, the bladder was not working. It was hard. It was hard and draining financially also. Now that strained even our relationship, because now, we don't know. We're just focusing on this child. We want this child to survive. Yeah, so it was a really tough journey. By 1 year, the child started to become better now. Now at least the medication we started to withdraw. Now, because we were really focused with the sickness and all, we didn't check the milestones of this child. We started to realize that 2 years, at 1 year, 3 months there, he delayed walking, he delayed talking. He started talking and then he regressed. We thought, or maybe this child is autistic or something. It was scary, because now, as a first-time mom, you wouldn't want even to have other kids, because now what if the others become like this one, and then as a male child, you're wondering, I will be stuck with this child forever. They will not be able to take care of themselves. Also, I started to appreciate the men I see, because I think I had a lot of bitterness because of failed past relationships. You want them to be struck by lightning. But now with my child, I'm thinking, hmm, even those people, they were born. They were born, they have mothers. I started appreciating people the more, because I'm thinking this journey of my son, and eventually, God willing, he will get better. I can't say that he cannot make mistakes. We are all human. Now, so I would want, even if he makes mistakes, the people who will surround him will have mercy on him. So it also changed me on my patience. I trusted in God the more, but that post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and postpartum depression, it was bad, because I felt suicidal. But now this voice telling me, what will happen to this child? Who will take care of this child at the age of 2 years? When now I'm seeing this child, I don't know what he's saying. He's not responding to his name. He's still getting sick, but not as worse as before. First instinct is, people don't understand. They might try to say, this child, why is he behaving like they're not normal? People can be insensitive because they don't know. Yeah, they can blame the mother. You don't take this child out. Why is the child not talking? What did you do? Mostly people blame the parents. Yeah, so because of that, many parents tend to hide these children so that they don't experience the stigma. Now, because of that, something ignited in me. I was like, how can I help this child? I started reading, I started Googling of ways to help the speech. I was like, the good thing about me, I nilikubali. I accepted the situation, and I was like, I need to help this child to be independent even in the future. So through that process, it was not easy talking to a child who does not respond to you. And you're wondering, you're going to the hospital, they're doing all this screening, they can't see anything. That is when I started reading and all. That is where my journey as a teacher came from, because now I had to go back to school and rush through school so that I know everything. I was really determined so that I can help my child. And because of that, now after my child started to talk when he was 4 years, after accepting, you just let go. Like, people are going to talk, people are talking. So I just started taking him out and always being around him so that he doesn't get lost. Because there's a time he got lost when we went to Isili. And you're calling the child and he's not responding. And it was so bad because I'm calling out his name, and that place, the way it's crowded. So I thought I had lost him, and I went through that building like 2 to 3 times without seeing him. So I was like, where can I even get this child? He's not even talking. I can say it's God. Because the last time I said, maybe this is the last time, let me try one more time. As I was pushing through the crowd, calling out his name, is when I saw him turning people like this, looking them up to see if it is me. And I don't think I even bought anything. We went back home. And up to this day, I've never gone with him to the market. Because now, that time I was so traumatized, because I even called my relatives. When you have tried all your best and you can't see the child, Now it's time to inform them, like, you have lost the child. After doing those interventions, I had no manual. I'm just reading and all, and I'm trying it on him. I'm talking to him. I'm mentioning everything. And one of the things I think that contributed to his speech is due to the postpartum depression. You're not talking, you're just monitoring the baby, sleeping, like that, But a child requires a lot. And now, at some point, I enrolled the boy in school. Even the nanny, I told her, I instructed her to talk to this child, tell him everything, mention everything. And now I think even God blessed me with a good nanny, because this is a spoon, a plate, everything. Going to the toilet, you mention everything, color yellow, the shoes, head, nose, teeth, everything you mention. We are walking, we are sitting, remote, like that, so that the child can know all this. So he started saying, mama, mom, calling everyone mom, even a dog. Now after that, it escalated to like four words he used to call the nanny. Also mom, but when he wants food, he will say, when he wants to be changed, like when he wants to be changed, he will say poo poo, like that. And then by 4 years, he had at least 50 words. But normally, I think they are supposed to be a lot. Yeah, but that was a breakthrough. He started talking gibberish, like you couldn't understand, just babbling words without any attachment to anything. But now by the 4 years, you could, when I got home, I remember that day, he said, hi, mom, and looked me straight in the eyes, and I was like, I was so happy. So I was like, I asked the nanny, eh, why, when did he start saying this? She said, like, when we go to school, he goes greeting everyone on the road. Yeah. And now after that, words were so many. And that was a really good time, because I felt like I have accomplished something, and now even my healing was complete. Every family, during that time when we were planning for the wedding, there was a challenge of our parents. They were separated. Him coming from a separated family, me coming from a single parenthood, and now us wanting to do things the right way. And we are trying to bring people together who were not talking. So it was very challenging, because we have to go to their father to ask them about, what do you think about this wedding, want to get married and all. And now, the major issue, the introduction, everything went well, but they didn't want us to, my thinking, they didn't want us to proceed to the dowry, because they hadn't completed the other side. You see, they are not talking to each other. There's tension. Yeah. They are talking because they are children, but they can't talk about deeper issues of maybe trying to get back together or things like that. And here we come in with all this tension, all these disputes, and now we want to bring people together. It was hard. And also, him coming from a Catholic family, and me coming from a ACK Protestant family. Everyone wanted, no, they will get married in our church. They will get these parents, they want their church. These parents, they want their church. Us, we are going to another church. Yani, there was conflict, and it was hard, because now how could we? It's easier talking to one parent, but it's hard talking to. That's when you understand, like, a wedding or a marriage is not for you only. It's for the whole community. So you are trying to bring these people together. More so their bloodline people, the relatives. Yeah, those people who are going to make those decisions for you. Because now, during the dowry, the parents negotiate and all. And it cannot be done any other way. So bringing those people together, it was hard. But it happened eventually. He was given permission to do it, but his parents didn't show up. The mother who was there, but the father, they had separated. So it's like, I don't want to be with this one in the same room. Things like that. And I don't know how deep, I'm just new here. I don't know how deep this separation was. I'm just like, I can't understand. In my background, I don't know. I've never seen my dad.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. What a powerful story and beginning to Petronilla's journey. This is part 1 of her story. Part 2 is going to be out next week. So make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this on so you don't miss out on that. But so much to take away, right? I think the first thing is motherhood can just be very beautiful, but it can also be brutal, right? And there's so much unknowns, especially with your first child. And I think motherhood has always been shown to us to be this automatic, easy process. And I just love that mothers nowadays are speaking very honestly, not to scare other women, but to ensure that women who are considering going down the motherhood route can be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, because it's something, right? And just listening to her talk about her traumatic birth experience and just the early struggles with her son's health, people don't really amplify that part of motherhood. And also it's still a very lonely journey, it's still a very lonely journey. I think the more we dig deeper into a capitalist world, individualism just thrives in capitalism. And you can find that even the people who make up your community are bogged down by work and just trying to survive. But, we have to remember, and I think I said this in the last episode, we have to remember, those of us who are the community members, to be there for our friends who are parents, right? Because it can be a lonely journey. I think the other thing that I was just hey, radical acceptance is it. When she talks about acceptance being the first step to healing, radical acceptance is a powerful tool in navigating challenges you find yourself in. I couldn't agree with that more. So instead of hiding her son or succumbing to stigma, once she radically accepted what the situation was, she was okay, I need to learn, I need to research, I need to figure out how to help my son. This is only the beginning of Petronilla's powerful journey. Part 2 is out next week, but I want to know what you connected with in part 1. So please drop me a comment. I really, really love hearing from you. And thank you so much for listening to this episode to the very end. I truly and deeply appreciate you. And remember, you have everything it takes to heal. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.